Hello friends, welcome to Walter Limited. I'm James. Today we're going to talk a little bit about why LEGO fans pay money to show off their builds. What's the hype about conventions? And to do that, I'm going to list for you the top 7 reasons I could think of to go to conventions. Why is it that you go to LEGO conventions? The biggest reason is always the people. 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 And the people. Number 7. To get away from normal life. I mean, even if you love your job, from time to time you need a break from it. And what better way to do that than go hang out with a bunch of creative people making incredible things and let some steam off, just hanging out, talking about LEGO, having fun. Number 6, there are a grundle of games to play at most conventions. There's blind builds, there's bridge builds, there's tower builds, there's timed builds, there's missing part builds, there's seed part builds, there's combined set builds. One of my personal favorites is set drafts, where everybody brings a copy and then you basically pick all of one kind of part that's in all the sets. So you end up with a larger volume of fewer pieces. I mean, really, any kind of game that LEGO fans can think of, you can pretty much get it at a convention. Number 5, to find good deals and get neat merch. So whether that's buying from vendors like the Bearded Builders Guild or Eclipse Graphics, or whether you're going to the yard sale that a lot of conventions put on, there's opportunities to find good deals. Now you have to know what you're looking for because some of the stuff won't be the best prices you've seen, but especially at the yard sale, you'll often find deals that you can't find anywhere else and you won't pay shipping. Plus you can find unique one-of-a-kind items, custom items, things like that. Number 4 is to be inspired. When you go to a hall, whether it's a smaller convention with 20 or 30,000 square feet of space, or a larger convention with over 100,000 square feet of space, there are so many people there doing incredible things with the LEGO brick that you can't help but be inspired. Number 3 is to collaborate, to make something greater than the sum of its parts. We had a great opportunity at the most recent Brick Fair in Fredericksburg to put together a great collab with some AFOLs in the area. And that was a ton of fun. We put together a beachfront, a boardwalk area that kind of represents what you have here in the Mid-Atlantic and the Eastern Seaboard throughout the United States, where there's just kind of a unique vibe. And being able to capture some of that and make some zany scenes at the same time was really a lot of fun and turned out way better than if any one of us had displayed by ourselves. You may ask me, do I just shoot from the hip? No, I have bullet points, but for the most part, it's shooting from the hip. The number 2 reason that I go to brick conventions is to make new friends. There are tons of great people in the LEGO community, and I've met many of them online and struck up friendships that way, but it's always best to get together with those friends in person or to make new friends in person. For example, these 3 fellas, Elliot, Roger, and Mark, Elliot builds, veteran LEGO dad, and Hoppa Bricks, I met kind of by happenstance a year ago at Brick Fair Chicago. My friend Virginia Bricks was flying to Brick World Chicago, and I was driving, so she asked me to put some of her mocks in the trunk of my car so that she didn't have to worry about getting so much on her into her bags for the airplane and worry about breakage that way. And she told me that she was going to meet up with one of her friends there, but he was getting there at the same time I was, and she was coming a day later. So she sent me his information. And actually, I never even needed to call him up or anything because I ran into Bubba on the elevator on my way down to first go see who was around. And, that was great. And we talked a little bit. And then he introduced me to veteran LEGO dad. Roger just happened to be walking past and he was like, "Hey, have you met veteran LEGO dad?" And so we struck up a conversation, and I tell you what, this was an opportunity to make a friend that I am so grateful for. Roger and I, as well as Mark and Elliot, ended up spending almost the entire weekend together. So, I mean, the week together from Wednesday through Sunday. And realistically, it was one of those times that it just clicked. You know, you meet somebody and you just know you're going to be friends for a long, long time. It's pretty awesome. I can't explain to you how great it is to know these guys. Do you have any great stories of making friends at Brick conventions? Helping Elliot get his build completed because he was in a bit of a time crunch for his awesome 501st reimagined base. And it was a great time. And the funny thing was, I had brought stuff to display, but didn't have a display space. And so they asked me where my stuff was, and I said, well, by the time that I went to register my mocks, they were actually out of table space, and they said, hey, we can make room for you right here with the Denlug crew. Shout out to Denlug. Some of my favorite people in the world are in that lug. And so they did. They scooted some stuff around and said, hey, you can have this spot on the table. How awesome is that? And I'd met them for like maybe half an hour or 45 minutes at that point. And we hung out, helped Elliot finish his build, and spent the entire weekend just having a great time, laughing, building, hanging out. And honestly, these guys will be my friends for life at this point. What an awesome opportunity. So making new friends definitely ranks up there really high. Go ahead and give us a like, subscribe to see more content like this. And the number one reason to go to Brick conventions is to see friends you already have. One of the primary drivers for me going to Brick World Chicago or Brick Slopes this year is to see people that I don't get to see all the time. Of course, I hang around with members of my lug out here. Shout out to Nova Lug in the Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia area. I hang out with them quite a bit, get to see them, a lot of them 1 or 2 times a month, sometimes even more often than that, depending on what we're working on. But my friends from Colorado or Chicago or Massachusetts or, you know, the West Coast, whether that's California or Washington, Oregon, or even people from out of the country, I only get to see them at conventions, really. And so seeing old friends is my number one reason for going to Brick conventions. And that is pretty amazing. I am super thankful for these opportunities to hang out with my friends and to make new ones every time I go. Really, the LEGO community is fantastic. And so when you ask, why on earth are LEGO fans paying money to go display their builds? Well, it's not as much about displaying their builds. Yes, that's an awesome part of it. That's our excuse to get together. But really, it's to have a great time with our friends. Let me know why you choose to go to LEGO conventions, or if you haven't been yet, why haven't you? Thanks for watching. Have a good one. What are you looking at?
On the screen.
Am I on the screen?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
On your phone screen.
On my phone screen? What the?